Welcome to another year of Hawk Talk. I'm Seth Morkerke. Obviously, Parker Robinson isn't here anymore. He graduated and went off into the world. So we have a new face to the broadcast booth. So go ahead and introduce yourself, where you're from, and what brought you to DSU.
Well, my name is Susanna Moberg. I'm a junior this year at DSU, and I'm from Dickinson. So I have had a lot of experience and interaction with the college and the professors, and I just kind of knew that DSU was the place for me to stay and to continue my education.
That's great. You've been, you just mentioned you've been here for 2 years. You're going into your third year.
Yes,
You've been involved with quite a few things. So, looking back on the past 2 years, looking forward into this next year, maybe tell us what's been the best thing that you've experienced the past 2 years here at DSU.
So I think probably the best experience I've had was my involvement with Student Senate, just getting me out a little more into the community and a little more involved in the school and with the students. And so I'm looking forward to this next year, continuing my involvement with Student Senate, continuing going out in the community, out to other places in the country, where I get to network a little bit, bring ideas back, and just keep making DSU awesome.
That's great. You mentioned the Student Senate, obviously. You've been involved with that, and now you are the president, student body president.
Yes.
Tell us, some plans that you have maybe for the year. What's, the most anticipated goal? Maybe lay out a plan, just a little bit briefly, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we actually had our first meeting last night, so I've got a few fresh ideas from senators. But I'm looking forward to a lot this year, more student involvement and more Senate involvement out in the school and getting senators out there so people know who they are and they're not just some mysterious student senators that happen to meet. So my goal for this year would be definitely getting the senators out in the school and interacting with students and hosting more events. We haven't really in the past hosted events before. It's just been, they happen, but I want to do more hosting of events and getting senators out and known around the campus.
That'll be great. The campus is buzzing, I can tell already, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about that throughout the program. But the reason that you're connected to, becoming a part of the Hawk Talk is because of your work at the DSU Heritage Foundation. You've been involved for the past year at least. In the past you've been involved volunteering and things like that. So what is your role with the DSU Heritage Foundation now?
So I field phone calls. I enter constituent records. I really do whatever they need me to do. And I've really enjoyed working with the Heritage Foundation and seeing that side of the school and how that runs and being able to help students in that way as well. Yeah, Foundation
has been a great help in my life, help in my school years here at DSU, and so I'm thankful for them as well. Last question here. Since this is Hawk Talk, it is kind of a sports show. What is your favorite event to attend, your favorite sporting event, and the one you're most looking forward to over this next year?
Well, when I was in high school, I was a swimmer, so that's really the only sport I know anything about. But I found now that I'm at college, I really enjoy going to football games. I like the environment, in the stands. I like cheering on my team. So I think I'm looking forward to another great Hawk football season.
That's great. Yeah, we're looking forward to it as well. Well, coming up after the break, we have a couple more guests, and we'll be talking about some of the past events. Golf was playing this weekend. Volleyball played this weekend. We got football coming up, so we'll be running over some of those scores and what we're looking forward to.
Life is full of many successes, achievements, stages. Every year we grow, things change, and pretty soon we realize we want and need to do more. When you're ready for that next step, Dickinson State University will get you there. Find out how at dsublue.com.
Well, we're back with another dear guest of the show, actually both of our bosses. Go ahead and introduce yourself and your role on campus.
I'm Ty Orton. I'm the Executive Director of the DSU Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, Executive Director, both of our bosses, as I said. And what a great boss.
Yes, agreed.
Ty, you've been in this position for 2.5 years now, close to it, and it's been busy. We see you all the time. You're running around. So what's probably the biggest thing that you guys are working on right now?
Well, we're involved with a lot of things. Our scholarships are still the #1 priority. We have several campaigns going on right now for academics and athletics. Probably the biggest thing happening right now is the athletic campaign. We just kicked that off a couple of weeks ago. have an overall goal of $410,000, and we're doing really well. We've had a lot of changes this year. The Booster Club name is back at the mailing, which is a very big step for the university, and a lot of tradition is back with that. So that's our biggest thing that's happening right now.
Yeah, and getting that name back, that Heritage Foundation back a couple years ago, and getting the building back has been a much needed asset for us. And it adds a position on campus for us. You know, we got the building down at the bottom of the hill, and we can go up to the campus, go to the Weinbergen to meet with the coaches. So what is it? You know, what's that kind of feeling to be able to be back on campus and have a name and a spot for us?
You know, the donors that really knew how important that house was, they were vital for us. For them to know the importance of that house, because we were so young at that time that we were just trying to start to raise money. I mean, we had to raise $800,000 for scholarships within 6 months, and we did that. Yeah. So we weren't worried about a building, but we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to have 40 other people say, this is where we need to go. I mean, Carla Porter, Sandy Frenzel, Joel Frew, I mean, they just said, you guys need this house. Yeah. And I was, yeah, we do. Didn't know it was going to happen, but when they said, well, let's get everybody together and let's raise the money to get this house back for you guys, it's a huge asset. I mean, you guys both work there. It's constant. I mean, there's people walking in all the time, and they just want to sit and look at the memorabilia. They want to have coffee. They just want to talk, and it's a very tremendous addition for the university. Yeah.
Well, it is 2018 right now. That means we've been around for about 100 years exactly, and we're currently celebrating the centennial. So what has been going on? What kind of events have we had this summer and leading up into this next year?
We had a fairly large reunion in June, and right before the 4th, the greatest thing that happened is that we were trying to organize a centennial celebration in roughly about 18 months with the university. Marie Moe was a very large help with that. But Alicia Erickson was the lead on everything. She's just a phenomenal person, a phenomenal asset to DSU, and we're fortunate to have her with us. But with everything that we did, we partnered with the city. Our name was associated with the Rough Rider Days, with the concert, in the parade, everywhere that we could be part of it, because the university just didn't have the money. We went through a major budget cut, and Dr. Mitzel just couldn't justify us dropping $50,000 to have a celebration when that could be an employee, and we don't want to lose that. That could be somebody that could recruit more students, those type of things. So he was very cautious on that, so it took a lot of meetings, but the community really said, we know how important the issue is. We'll do whatever we can to make sure that we celebrate this. And it's kind of been constant the whole year, and it's going to continue that way.
Yeah, I know we have that homecoming event happening, big reunion happening then, and that's going to be a great event. What does it mean to be 100 years old? Like we have universities across the nation who are much older than us, but we're a rural college and we're 100 years old. I think that's pretty special. What do you think?
It is. I think it's a great thing, but the one thing that it causes people to do it, they say, okay, you're 100 years old. Well, let's look at your history. Oh, back then they had a difficult time in the 40s. They had a difficult time keeping that place open. They had a difficult time in the 60s. They had a difficult time here. It makes you realize, you're going through a difficult time. You're going to get through it. You got through it before. It's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take the community coming together, but you're going to be fine. Just continue to work hard and be positive, and that's what Dr. Mitzel does. That's what the cabinet does, and the foundation is really positive with that. So we're lucky for that.
Yeah. Susanna, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah. So Ty, as we start this new school year and kids are back on campus, what do you think the buzz is around kids? What are they looking forward to this year? How is the Heritage Foundation going to play a role in that?
Wow. Seth and I were out. I was actually watching Seth pull weeds. So, hey, you missed one over there.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed that the campus was alive.
Yes.
There's people walking around everywhere. There's people talking, going to their cars. The buzz, I think, is really, it's kind of football season. You said it. People are starting to understand that we have a very strong football program. And we're fortunate to have the facilities we have, the coaches that we have, and the community. They come out for those games. Our athletics are a big part of DSU, not not DSU, but a big part of it. So I think that the students are just kind of excited to be back, and they know that there's changes coming to DSU, the cafeteria. The scholarships are getting better. There's so many things. The teachers are really excited to have the students back, and there's just so many things that the students are excited for. It's fun to see that, because several years ago, you both saw it wasn't like that. It was a very quiet. You'd run across a couple of kids here and there, and it seems different this year. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I would agree. Even though this is my last year going to be here at DSU, I agree that buzz has been incredible. It's been a great growth from my freshman year to this 5th year of school, and I'm very thankful for that. I think that is in part to you guys over at the foundation, for sure, raising all the money, getting all these scholarships for kids, and I'm very thankful for that. So if you would like to help raise money for these scholarships, you can stop by the foundation. I'm sure you can go on our website, dsuheritagefoundation.com. Ty, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Great friend, great man. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yes. Okay.
We'll be back with another guest, Coach Pete Stanton, soon. Well, welcome back. We have another guest on the show, another coach around campus. Go ahead and introduce yourself and your roles on campus.
My name is Pete Stanton. I'm the head football coach and also the athletic director at Dickinson State.
Yep, the athletic director. This is your 2nd year moving into that. You kind of had the interim last year, and now you're taking that role on again. What's the feelings kind of with that? How did it go last year, and what are you looking forward to this year?
Oh, I think it went fine. It's busy this time of year, just trying to work through all the eligibility and all the teams coming in and doing that. But I think once things sort out, it works out okay as far as trying to balance everything. And of course, we have great help, and we have Coach Fleury helps also as well in the athletic department. Coach McCarville, who's replacing Coach Schillinger as far as that, some of those duties, and wouldn't be able to do that at all without those two. So I think that's made a big difference there too. But it's busy. There's a lot of juggling. You've got to prioritize and get the day figured out. But it worked out fine last year. And like I said, I think there's just certain periods that are very busy, and then other periods you can kind of catch your breath and get things divided out, and it goes okay.
Yeah. And you've been a coach on campus for multiple sports, track including, football including. We've had some pretty good teams around here. Last year we had cross country was a champion, football was a champion, men's basketball was close. We have a lot of teams that are growing and growing. And what's it like to see that as an AD, as a coach, as a teacher on campus? What's that like to see all these teams that are successful?
That's great. I think when you have a successful athletic department, it helps all the way across the board on campus. As you mentioned, we had 7 conference championships last year. We had several of them go to national playoff contention. Our cross-country teams, I just think them going out to Washington, the football team playing out in Oregon, and the softball team playing in Missouri, and the track team's winning. I don't think the men's track team has lost a conference championship in like 15 or 16 years. So I think all that helps as far as just the attitude across campus. But I think with recruiting, the success that all the sports have, and I think that's a big thing. You see some universities where this is their program, this is a program. I think one thing with Dickinson State, we do a good job of being all together, being a family together, and supporting each other's programs. And you see the coaches at the other sports games and things like that. You don't see that at a lot of places, and that's nice to have here.
Yeah. And one thing I know you push with football and you've pushed with all the sports is being a student first, being an academic. We had quite a few academic all-conference last year. We had that big celebration. What does that say for our program and say for our university as well?
I think it's big, and that's always the number one priority, is that we do well in the classroom first, and that we're good citizens and good people, and then whatever happens in the sports is going to be great. I think last year, two of the last 3 semesters, we've been as an athletic. As the students have been over 3.0 combined GPA. So that's always a goal that we want to have across the board with the athletic department, is to meet that 3.0 GPA. And then I think also, like you said, then we have 24, 25 academic All-Americans last year, which takes a 3.5 GPA plus being a junior status. We have a lot of freshmen and sophomores that met that, but mid-junior status. So it says a lot just about. And we also have, to go along with that, we have a lot of dual sport athletes too. So to be able to combine 2 sports and still do very well at a very high level academically. That's what it's all about, and that's what we want to strive for.
Yeah. We talked a little bit about you're the football coach. We're going to switch a little back into football now. The players have been back for a few weeks now, working hard, practicing, and I know you had a scrimmage a few days ago or last week. How do you feel after that scrimmage and after watching those practices and watching those boys? How do you feel the football season is looking?
Well, I think we're going in the right direction. I think it's it's always tough in 2 days because one, we start a little bit later this year just because we play a week later than most of the teams, and I think the second thing is we have some new people at some different positions this year. But particularly like where Seth plays at receiver. We have some different combinations there, and defensive line we're a pretty new group, and it just takes a while to get that all together. And I think what happens when you start coming into camp too, and we pushed them pretty hard, and they go 7-8 days in a row, and they get a little leg weary. But I thought that in the scrimmage and since the scrimmage, we learned from some things that we got to do. And the other thing that happens in a scrimmage is you might only have certain places to play 4 or 5 plays where they're going to be playing 60 or 70 in the game, so it's always maybe not as pretty as you'd like it sometimes too. But I think now that we're through with the camp part of it, and our guys have gotten on the same page, we'll be able to really just focus on kind of a package that we want to be able to do.
Yep. This is your 5th year as the head coach here at DSU. You've had some successful seasons, really successful seasons, and have been nationally ranked at the end of seasons, and we're now nationally ranked at the beginning of the season. What does that do for the team? We have a veteran squad who has played quite a few games the past year, has always been pretty strong. What does it say to be 13th in the nation heading into the first game?
Well, I think it's a reflection, as you said, like of your past, and the fact that the last couple of years we've been in the national playoff games and have won our conference. I think it says a lot for the program. I think the big thing is just what our guys do with it now, and we talk about it all the time, as we just can't. Last year was last year. We can't rest on what was there, whether it was good or whether it was bad for us. It ended up being pretty good, and each team is different. And that's the beauty of sports, is that each team is different. Each team is unique. The 2018 team is totally different from the 17 team. So I guess the big thing I'd like to do is still be ranked that well, or better at the end of the year, and that's the main thing. I know people come out with preseason rankings or preseason All-American lists, and I think it's all about where you want to get to, and that's really what we're concerned doing. We're doing it one game at a time, getting to that point.
Yeah, and one team that's always been in our past is Jamestown. They're now moving to a new conference, moving to the GPAC. We talked about that last year. Football team is playing them this weekend at 1 o'clock. What's kind of the what you're predicting for this weekend? What are the things we got to focus on, and how's that going to be?
Okay, well, we're always excited to play them. They've been a long time regional rival. It's unfortunate they're in a different conference because people from Dickinson can associate with Jamestown and playing them for so many years. And like their record last year, I thought they were better than what their record was last year. They finished 2-9 last year, and they, like against us, for instance, they had almost 500 yards in offense against us in a game, and they lost 2 or 3 close games. They lost Dakota State in overtime. They lost to Waldorf on the last play of the game. So I think their record didn't indicate, and then I think we saw that against against Valley City this last week, when Valley City has most of their team back this last week and Jamestown beats them.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be very physical. They're going to play very physical. They're going to play hard defensively. They have returned most of their guys on defense. They're just going to try to keep the game short by running the football and being a physical team. So that's what we're going to have to do. I mean, it's a different team than what we're used to seeing, because we're going to see a lot of spread offenses, throughout the year. These guys are just going to run the football downhill, kind of like Coach Bijou used to do here a lot with the 2-back, and we're going to have to be ready to match our physicality.
Yeah. Well, Coach, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks for showing up.
Yes,
Thank you.
Blue Hawks are playing this weekend at 1 o'clock at the BAC. Go ahead and show up. Tickets are still on sale, I believe, for the season tickets and the blue seats. If you'd like to get a hold of some of those tickets, come to the foundation or call or come on the website. I know that we still have some left, so go ahead and get in contact with us. Susanna and we'll be back to talk about some sports that have happened already and to look forward to some more. Well, Susanna, it's only the second week of school, but we've already had some sporting events, so we're just going to recap some of that before we take off. Golf already had an event. They had a meet yesterday or the day before. The men's team looked a little shaky. I talked to a few of the players, and the weather probably had an indication of that. They took 8th, but the women's team, they took 3rd. And I believe that's a good sign for us, especially in the fall, with a couple of different athletes doing different sports. They get to participate in golf. What do you say about that?
Yeah, I think, I don't know much about golf, so
we'll get there.
They sounds to me like they're doing great.
3rd.
I wouldn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and volleyball, they
Exactly.
This past weekend they lost 4 games, but they got 2 sets on one of the teams, and they're growing. I know they're growing, and I believe that team is coming together.
Yeah.
And we'll have an opportunity to see that come out and them show up this next weekend. They're going to the Corn Palace. They have, I believe, 4 games there, and it'll be a great opportunity to face some of the teams that they lost to this past weekend and teams they've played in the past, and really to just gain some confidence, gain some family unity amongst that team, and just get some more time playing.
Exactly.
And obviously football is coming
this
up,
weekend against Jamestown.
We're excited.
Yeah.
It's at 1 o'clock like we mentioned, and we did mention the tickets. I want to say that
Yes.
again. Tickets are still available. Season tickets are available, and the Blue Hawk seats are available at the DSU Heritage Foundation. So if you'd like some of those, go ahead and stop by. Well, we're going to be back next Thursday. We'll be back Thursday nights, Friday afternoons, whenever, and it's going to be us for the rest of the season. We're excited to talk to some more coaches, talk to some more players throughout the year as we get into the fall, further into the fall, more into the winter, and into the spring. And until then, Hawks are up.